Ollie. Hello, Augie. Hello, kitten. Hello, Eddie.
Hello and welcome back to Art Therapy with Jenn. Today I'm going to be doing a collage art page in my Ideas Art Journal. And the magazine images that I'm going to be using today are ones that were in my magazine image stash. I was going through there looking for some other things, and I always like to try to pull some that I think would go together in a page as well as I'm doing that. So some of these I've had for years, some are more recent. It's untelling, but I just went through and I saw some interesting colors, and I thought we'd try to make a fun page out of it and tell a story. So as always, I start with putting my background down. And if you haven't seen me before, what I like to do to get started if I'm kind of having trouble seeing where I want to go, I take one of my biggest images that I know I want to use and I just rip it in half and I put part of it on one page and part of it on the other page. And that just gives me something to start with and build off of. And I really love this one. It was like these licorice candy canes in this black, white, and gray. I mean, can't go wrong with that, right? And then I just built up from there. I found some fun pinks and blues and purples, and some of them I ripped, some of them I put in as they are. I kind of like mixing up those like rough raw edges with the cut edges as well. I don't know. I just go with it. I don't ever plan my pages out other than I just take a bunch of images thinking I'm going to pick from these images here. And then I just really just kind of intuitively see where it leads me. I just have a lot of fun with it. And you'll just see me there. And I do this little thing. It always cracks me up when I'm voicing this over. Like I'll sit there and like move my hands and fingers around when I'm thinking, and you can just like I can see those gears moving, you know. And something else I really like to do my last few pages is those images that I'm pulling from and that I've already taken from my stash. I lay those all around the page that I'm working on so I can kind of see as much as I can at a glance what I have, and then I just pick from there. It just takes away a lot of the mental clutter and I'm just able to enjoy it a lot more. And then y'all see I did something I don't usually do. I glued over the spine or over the seam of the book. I do it sometimes. I don't do it a lot in my journals because I find that depending upon what binding you have for your book, it can really, really bulk up, especially if you haven't thin pages or anything. So a lot of times I do leave a space. If you see my other pages where the book bends there in the seam. Why do I not know words today? Y'all just go with it. I just forget them sometimes. But every once in a while, I do like to overlap that. And I don't even think I'm going to cut it. Usually I go back through and I cut that image in half. But we're just going to go with it. We're just going to be a little rebellious today, right? And I'm just finding I'm building up on those grays and, like I said, purples and different reds and blues and just having a fun time. And I don't pay a lick of attention to what is actually in the image 99.9% of the time. So you'll see me put stuff upside down, sideways. I'll rip stuff to where it'll rip an object right in half. I'm more looking at colors and shapes and textures and just making a fun and visual foundation for my page. I don't care that it's a mountain. I don't care that it's, whatever. I just see it as colors and, if that makes sense. I do like the flower there, though. I kept the flower intact. Like, it was special that day. But I do get comments every once in a while, and so I just want to reiterate that. Like, there I'm putting houses upside down, backwards, and sideways, so it's okay. Those are magic houses. Like, it doesn't affect them. And now I'm just going around. I still have some white space to fill and just seeing what I want to put on there. And I do it in a super technical, scientific way. I just lay stuff on the page, turn it every which way, and see what I like. And if I like it, I glue it down. Now I did something a little different with that little hexagonal image that I did in the upper right corner. I did fussy cut that. I just really like those hexagonal shapes. It was almost akin to like a helix or something. So I just kept that and put it up there because why not? And it was a totally different shape than anything else on the page, and I just felt like it. And now I see a lot of these images on here, like the one that I'm playing with right there and these mountains and stuff. Those came from mini calendars ages ago when I used to work at Big Lots. We're going way back now. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with Big Lots, and this may not be the case now because I actually haven't been there since I worked there. Maybe just a time or two. But they used to put stuff on clearance, and we had these calendars that didn't sell, and they went on clearance. And I think I got them for like 1 or 5 cents a piece. And this was when I was first really getting into art journaling on the regular. Y'all, I bought so many of them calendars. I could have been good with just buying one, but I was in my phase where I was just trying to get as much of everything as I could, and I wasn't worried about, how I was going to actually use it. I probably bought 15 of them. I mean, again, they were 1 to 5 cents a piece, but I didn't need them, and I still have those images. That flower is actually from it too, but there's like mini calendars and large calendars, and yeah, it was crazy. I think I saw on the back of them, they're from like 2014 or 2015. Like, it's a while. They got good images though, but did I need 10 of the same landscape image with a tree? Probably not. Although that would be a challenge. Make a collage page with copies of the same image or two. That would be interesting. And now another thing I like to do, I just like to take the little scraps that I rip off and also layer those on there, and I just love it. I actually have a scrap jar that I keep those in just for things like this. I just love it, and we're going to put that on there, and that's going to make my background. So let's take a close-up look. And if this video looks a little weird to y'all, do forgive me. I got a new phone recently, and I'm still trying to figure out all the ins and outs of the camera on it. I think there was some type of stabilization mode when I was taking this, so I don't know. To me, the focus looks kind of funny, but that's how we learn, by trial and error, right? I think I got it figured out, so we'll see. But it is a different phone camera that I'm using, so don't be alarmed. It does look different. Great camera, though. I just have to figure it out. And now we're moving on to the next step I like to do, and we're doing our cast of characters, the focal images. In this case, we got all people. Got 4 lovely ladies. And like I said, I just went through my stash. I fussy cut 3 of them, and then the girl in the bottom right with the balloons there, I wanted to leave her as is just because, I don't know, I just love that image. And I just put them across the page. Like, I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with this page yet, but as you see as I'm gluing them down, I really like the position they were in, because when you go across the page, like right to left, it almost seems like it's someone kind of doing a twirl. I don't know how to describe it, but the way the positions are in, it's almost like you catch someone mid-twirl, if that makes sense. I don't know. It worked in my head. And I also liked that they were all dressed in some form of white, so it really tied them together. And I just noticed they all have different hair colors, so that's nifty. But I thought the white went really well with the backgrounds, where I have a lot of those whites and blacks and grays, and just I really liked it. And they come from all types of different magazines: photography magazine, wedding magazine, fashion magazine. It's untelling. But I like how they fit together. Just had fun with it. So we're going to take a closer up look at the page now that they're on there. And I just love it. And sometimes I do like to tear around the dresses and just get there. I don't know. I just like to play with that. In worst case, if I tear an image too much, I'll just use it another time. So now I'm changing it up. For those of y'all that watch me a lot, I usually do words next. But for some reason, I wanted to do some embellishments before I do words. I know, I'm being a rebel today. I'm switching it up. So I just took out some cheap acrylic craft paint, matte paint. This is Walmart Apple Barrel. It's like 50 cents. It's just cheap matte craft paint. And I didn't feel like going and getting something to put my paint out on and then having to throw that away and do all that business. So I'm just taking it right out the lid and the bottle and putting it on my finger and just kind of patting it around. So I'm not getting very much on there, almost like dry brushing with my finger. And I'm going back through and I'm wanting to make this kind of cloud misty type texture. And this stuff dries super fast. So if you go over it and you wait like 5 seconds and then again you can move like half of it and it gives it that texture that I was looking for. And I'm just going around all the edges and just smearing it on there, and then again going back on the edge toward the page and just patting it out with my finger so it doesn't have that really like defined line. So I'm just going around and do that. I just felt like it, so why not? Sometimes you just have to get the paint out and smear it on. And I'm being very careful not to put too much paint down because, again, this is magazine. So magazine and moisture, they are not friends. They do not get along. They do not send each other Christmas cards. It just, you can go from something that looks cool and layered to something that's all crinkled up and peeling up really quick. So unless that's what you're going for, and then pile it on. So then I let that dry and I actually came back the next day to work on it. So I'm using some of these, I think they're called art crayons or soft pastels, or I don't know. I got 2 or 3 different brands of them that I've gotten on clearance over months. They're basically really soft pigment sticks that I think are water reactive, or I don't know. I'm going to be putting them over the paint that I put down the day before, because you want that paint to be completely dry or this could be a mess. And I'm just putting down little bits and taking my finger and just smoothing it out just to create some color on top of that white. And I'm just going in, I think I have a pink, 2 shades of purple, and then I'll be going in with a black and then a blue later on. And I'm just building it up. I like the softness of it, like the pastel color it gives, but also I think it kind of gives just another element, like a little magical element to the page. And I just play around with it. There's several different brands of these. Yeah, I'm not that well versed on art supplies. I was someone I would see people using them and I'm like, what is that? And I'd see it on clearance. I said, I'm going to buy that and try that out. So I wish I was more of an expert on things, but honestly, I just get in there and, worst case, it doesn't work out. But this is something I like to do. And this is something as well, like I was talking about, you had to be careful with the paint with the magazine because it can crinkle up with that moisture. This is another thing too. You have to be very careful rubbing on these pages as well, because again, you're rubbing on top of paper, this glossy paper that's been, glued on there. Well, in my case, school glue. And if you rub too much, you could mess something up. So, especially if you get off the paint there. So, I'm talking from experience. And then I decided to add a little blue turquoisey type color to play off those little accents of blue in the page. Why not, right? The only thing I wish I could have added on top of this, and I need to figure out a way to do this, I wanted to add like almost like a metallic droplets or something. Like I wish I had something that worked like my whiteout pen, but that was like silver and gold. I need to look into that. Maybe some like car model paint or something. I would say nail polish, but again, I tried things out back in the day, and nail polish on art journal pages, just from my experience, don't do it. It'll eventually eat through that magazine and that paper, and it'll get real sticky, and it's just not a good situation. I used some nail polish in one of my first journals, and it just, over time, it just ruined the journal. So just be aware. you can probably do it on top of like wood or metal and stuff, but I wouldn't do it on top of paper. I mean, do what you want, but I wouldn't do it. And now I'm just getting my gel pens out after I finished up with those soft pastels. And I didn't mention it, but I also went around and put some of the black soft pastels around the very outer edges and smoothed that out as well. So going in with black gel pen and white gel pen, and I didn't have too much luck with that white gel pen. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Everybody uses these what is it? The Jelly Roll pens, and I don't have any luck with them in magazine. Maybe they work better on paper, but I just don't have any good luck with them on magazines. But I try to use it because, by George, I paid for them, and I'm gonna try. And now I'm going in with a black Posca paint pen because I couldn't find my Sharpie. I've used it for another project, and heaven knows where it's ended up. I'll find it eventually, but I don't know where it is at the moment, and that was right by my desk. So let's take a look at what it looks like now after the soft pastels, the paint, the pens, and all that goodness. And now I'm going to go back in and do my words. I know I went a little backwards. It's okay. It's okay. To step out of the zone every once in a while. And again, I do this like I did my other images. I went through my word stash. I just took a bunch out that just jumped out at me, spoke to me, and I set them all around my page. That way I can just pick them up and look and be like, this here, love this here, this here. So that's what I'm going around and doing right now. And I just love that. I think one of the parts that eliminates for me that I don't enjoy when I do collage is when there's just too much, especially those of us that have been doing it for years and you have just accumulated so many daggone supplies to pull from, which is a beautiful thing, right? Like, what a terrible problem to have. But with me, if I'm looking at this whole monstrosity of things that I have to go through, it really stunts my creativity. So I like to just go through and pick a few things and just be able to pull from those and say, okay, this is what I have and this is what I'm going to pull from. And I just really enjoy that a lot better. And I create as best as I can with those things, and I've been loving that. So as I'm gluing those words down because I'm happy with them, I'm going to read them to y'all, and I'm going to start at the top of the left page and go down and then go to the right page. So top left page, it says, there is no limit to imagination, no aesthetic possibility that can't be explored. And then to the left of that on down, it says head in the clouds. And then at the bottom of that page, it says live your dream. And then toward the top of the right, we have this one's for the girls. Try not to sing that song. Then we have sense of identity. And at the bottom, we have celebrate with us. And then right across the middle, I went crazy. I even put words across the seam of the journal. Watch out. I put, are you truly happy inside? So now we get the theme that's come together. So these girls here, they've decided that they're going to live their dream, you know, and it may seem like a head in the clouds right now, but once you shift that mindset, like it says, there's no possibility that can't be explored. So they're all celebrating because they've decided to work through the dream, and they're all different walks of life and everything, but it's a big turning point when you decide, hey, I ain't doing this rat race no more. I ain't doing this, or I'm not going to be this way because I'm told to be that way, even though, Lord, it feels like I'm a cat being petted backwards, you know, with sandpaper. They're deciding to live the dream, and people may say they have their head in the clouds, but it's really something to celebrate. It's really something to celebrate. And, you know, we have the girl at the bottom. She's celebrating. Maybe she's already been successful in her dream. We have the girl with the red hair. She has a sense of identity. She's just going with it. She knows who she is and what she likes. And just because that doesn't maybe meet with a traditional standards or other people that probably barely even know her's idea of who she should be and what she should do, she's comfortable in herself. She's climbed that hill and come out the other side. And like I said, head in the clouds and then live in the dream. So they had to ask themselves, are they truly happy inside? And I think they're on the road there, y'all. I think they're on the road there. So I went around with a black Posca pen and outlined the words. And now I'm going in with my trusty old whiteout pen. I need to get some more of those. And I'm just putting little dots on top of that black. And then after that, in a moment, you'll see me go over the black Posca pen part and the outline just with some really quick scribbles of the white gel pen. And that gel pen actually did work very well on top of the paint. So it's probably just not a magazine type. And I don't know if y'all can see in the right side there, I have a lovely assistant today, Mr. Ollie. If y'all follow me on Instagram, our Instagram is Art Therapy with Jenn, just like it's spelled here, but all together like it's one word. And I also have Jenn with the cats, where I post pictures of the cats all the time and their shenanigans. And he's always up in my business, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes it annoys me a bit much, but I wouldn't have it any other way, because the moment he stops annoying me, I'm like, where are you at? Where'd he go? But as you can see there, he's doing that lovely cat thing where you're telling him no, and then he just inches his way. And if he goes unchecked, y'all better believe he will be flopping all up on this book. So all my art journals are at least 5% cat hair by the end, and I'm okay with that. I think that's almost like fairy dust or fairy glitter. I think that's great. Probably not great if you're allergic to cats, but I don't know. I figured if I was allergic by now, I'd probably done croak over. So, but he's sitting over there. Y'all can see his little paw. He's giving me instructions, telling me what to do, letting me know that his feeding time will be upon us. But again, thank y'all so much. I hope y'all enjoyed this page and hanging out with me for a little bit. And I hope y'all have a fabulous day. And I will see y'all in the next art video. Bye, guys.